Hello, friends. I'm assuming you're here because you learned to shuffle from me. I have all kinds of videos on here, and it's just stuff that goes through my head. And there's been one thing that's been bothering me for a long time now, maybe 4 or 5 years. Uh, Earlier, I used to get the occasional question of how to monetize this new skill that you've learned from me. And I never had an answer for you because I personally didn't want to do that. I never wanted to make money from shuffling, and that's still the case. But hey, if you do, that's fine. There are all kinds of situations people are in and motivations, and I've got a transport business, so that was never really an issue for me. But um, let's say I discovered Bitcoin some 5 years ago, properly. I mean, I knew about it from the very start, unfortunately, and never got into it, but I should have. But here we are, better late than never. So 5 years ago, I got into saving in Bitcoin, and it's worked out fairly good for me. And I want to explain to you what I believe everyone should be doing. Um, I don't know how you should make money from shuffling. I still don't. Perhaps teach. I don't know. Actually, I have a solution, possibly at the very end. Follow through to the end, and I'll explain to you. I actually didn't plan to talk about this, but why not? I've got a bunch of little slides here. So, for the last 100 or so years, since World War One, essentially, we have been off the gold standard. So people think that money is backed by gold or something. It isn't. It's backed by nothing. Well, violence. It's backed by violence. If you ever thought of getting off the dollar system, uh, the US, which has the world reserve currency, the dollar, sent a nice hit squad on you. Um, uh, Saddam Hussein wanted to get off the dollar system, and he wanted to what was it? Instead of paying for fuel in dollars, he wanted to use a different currency, either gold or something, and that didn't end well for him. Gaddafi, same thing. He wanted to have some kind of gold-based African um, gold dinar or something like that. Again, didn't go so well. Slowly, they are losing grip on this. Look up what the hell happened in 1971. It's a website that will explain a lot about Nixon taking the dollar off the gold standard completely. He shot the gold standard in the head there. Um, Temporarily, of course, for the last 50 years. Five. Um, let's not get too crazy there. So essentially, now what happens is, well, how crazy. I just went 100% to begin with. So anyway, let's just continue. The banking system essentially creates money. Okay. So when you put your money in the bank, when you put your savings into the bank to get your tiny whatever 0.5% interest, uh, that's not coming from them loaning it out and then earning an interest and giving part to you. Uh, they just make the money when they lend it out. They're not giving your money to people. Oh, Jesus. I really don't want to get into this. So I will quickly say when you put your money in, because of fractional reserve lending, look that up. Your money basically does a 10x or more, 20, 50 times more money gets created than what you put in, depending on the jurisdiction the bank is in and where that money goes. Now, there are, oh, it's a bad system. Uh, there are a lot of fees. There are a lot of middlemen. Um, you trust the banks with your money. You shouldn't, but we do. Now, the banks are checked by, there's like a number of layers of checks to make sure that all the money is going to all the right places. So if you send from one bank to another, you'll sometimes get that payment pending um, thing for several days because the whole system needs to make sure that all the money is where it's supposed to be. Uh, they have a lot of control over what you do with your money, as I found out when I started buying Bitcoin because they kept freezing my accounts. So I would have to go into the branch and say, "What have you done? Let me use my money." Like they would freeze my account. I couldn't do anything. I have a business to run. So they're like, "Oh no, we're trying to protect you from the scams because so many people are being scammed by Bitcoin, by Bitcoin." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But thank you for your concern. And I swear I have said this to them on numerous occasions. Thank you for your concern. As a matter of fact, I am getting scammed. Oh, by you. You are the bank. You know how fractional reserve lending works, don't you? Well, ipso facto, this is the scam. So I'm just trying to take my pretend money and buy real money with it. And you clearly don't like that because I'm escaping your system. But please don't worry, I'm not being scammed. Unfreeze my accounts. And they would, and then they would freeze them again. I found a way around that. I keep buying it and they don't even know. And I've gone in and told them, hey, I am buying it still. I can show you how I'm doing it. And they're like, no, we don't allow that. Okay, sure. Now, don't worry about that too much. Or maybe I'll go into it in further videos. Tell me if you have similar issues, let me know underneath and I can elaborate. Let me know in the comments. Comment and subscribe. Ugh, but do leave comments. I do answer most of the comments on most of my videos if you have questions. The whole system is broken. You know, they send you to finance, and I wouldn't know. I didn't study finance. I studied psychology and history and philosophy and things. So they put you through the education system to learn finance if you do business school or economics or whatever. And they simply teach you how to run the broken machine. It doesn't work. The It does not work. Simply doesn't work. Uh, when we came here to Australia in the 90s, my parents bought several years later. They bought their first house in 1999 for around 80,000, if I remember correctly, $80,000. Some 25 years later, a couple of years ago, somebody, not us, we sold a house a long time ago, somebody sold a house for about 700,000 perhaps. That is like some 8 or 9x that the price has gone up in 25 years. Now they'll tell you the inflation rate is 2%, 3%. Oh, the inflation rate is high, it's 4%. We need to increase interest rates so that people stop borrowing money because that's how they create the money when they lend it out. But it's not. The percentage works out to be like 8% from that example. So yeah, they lie about the interest rate. They use different metrics, the CPI, the consumer purchasing index, or whatever it's called. They just include and exclude different items on that list uh, just to present things the way they want. If something gives them a high interest rate, they say, "Oh no, people aren't going to buy this. They'll buy this other cheaper thing." So yeah, that's a statistic they like. Um, yeah. So and that's when things run well. I'm from Serbia, and you know what? I will have a picture of. No, I'm not. I'm from Serbia. We had inflation. I think it was 50% per day at one point in the early 90s, mid 90s. Yeah, inflation can get real scary, real scary. Like you lose everything you own in a few days. Literally, in a few days, the value of everything you own goes to shit. So, uh, in good economies, inflation is 5 to 10%. What have I got here? Now, what is Bitcoin? Satoshi Nakamoto, a person, a group of people we don't really know. They've stayed anonymous. They said it's a peer-to-peer digital cash. So essentially, I can send you Bitcoin in much the same way I would give you cash. I mean, I can physically hand over Bitcoin to you, right? If I write down the password to a wallet and I put down a certain amount of Bitcoin that you want, I can just give you that password. Now, you shouldn't trust me with that password. Obviously, you should never tell anybody the password. It shouldn't go on a phone. It shouldn't be in a photo anywhere. When you write these things down, flip all the cameras, take them out of the room. But you can put a small amount or any amount into a password and just physically give the Bitcoin to someone. You don't even need the internet. You should then transfer it to your own wallet just to make sure I don't take it out of there. And I would never, I mean, I'm trying to help you people. In general, don't ever trust anyone. And you don't have to. You don't have to trust anybody. When the Bitcoin is in your control, everybody knows it. The whole network makes sure that everything runs according to the rules. So there is no trust in Bitcoin. You don't have to trust anybody. If your wallet says you have it, you have it. And nobody else has it, nobody else can take it, nobody can stop you from using it. You can send it in anywhere in the world in the next block. Each block is about 10 minutes apart. So within the next 10 minutes, usually, and on average, it can be 1 minute, it can be half an hour. Yeah. You can send $1 billion to Uganda in 5 minutes, and nobody can stop either you or them receiving it. There is a lot I'm not going to say just because I don't have the time for it right now. But I can go into it. If you want to know more about anything, again, comments, please. Now, Satoshi created this in 2008 and then released it in 2009 in response to the GFC, Global Financial Crisis. Yeah, back then, The Big Short, the movie Big Short is about that crash. So if you watch that, it'll give you some idea. Actually, watching it again, which I did a few months ago after I learned about all this stuff, gave me a whole new way of seeing that event. So he created Bitcoin in response to the financial crash. Or maybe things just panned out that way, that the timing just coincided. But obviously, but it could be them, he knew how bad the system was, and he created this in response. Now, the crash just happened to perhaps coincide with the release, but the very first block, the Genesis block, says, actually, I'll just check what it says right now. It says The Times, that's a newspaper. The Times, the 3rd of January 2009, that's when it was created. It was a newspaper headline. It was a newspaper headline on the day when the first block was created. The Times, the 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. So he created Bitcoin in response to the collapse, or at least, well, yes. Yeah, in response to the whole system being so bad. And it just coincided with the giant collapse there. They're about to give our money to the banks to bail them out in response to them being very irresponsible with our money. So they got rewarded for running the system badly. no one controls the Bitcoin. And I can go into all this, how it works exactly, but that's not exactly what this video is about in particular. Yeah, so there is no middleman in Bitcoin. The network of nodes, I have one right up there. The network of nodes makes sure the rules are followed. So you don't need permission from anybody. Nobody needs to check anything. There aren't layers of checks. Every node checks everything. All the nodes talk to each other. If anything is out of order, that node automatically gets kicked off the system. If anyone tries to create more Bitcoin, or if anyone tries to spend the money twice, or any of this, whatever creative ways to scam the system, which exist in the fiat system, they cannot do it here. Yeah. The network of nodes, like I said, I have one. There are, by different metrics, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 of these around the world. So you can't take the network down, because how will you take down 50,000 computers spread all over the world? If you take down the internet, you can actually keep the blockchain going through radio transmissions. There are experiments, and possibly in Africa, people do it in different ways because of the lack of internet. I know they can. I'm not sure if they do, but yeah, you can, as long as you can send information in some way, you can do it. And the internet comes back up, all the nodes kick in, and everyone updates their nodes according to the latest information, and yeah, it keeps going. There are 21 million Bitcoin, or will be. There are currently around 20 million. So, which is strange. I think when I got in 5 years ago, there were like 17 or 18 million. Yeah. So, um, it's a very finite supply. 21 million. That's it. That's it. 21 million Bitcoin. There is nothing else in this universe that we know of that has an exact capped supply. Literally nothing. It is the hardest asset in the world. Sorry. Gold is essentially second best. There is no second best. There is gold. Gold is the second best thing we have, I believe. Its inflation rate is somewhere around 2% per year. It always has been so. As Saylor likes to say, in about 35 or so years, the value of your gold loses half of its value. The purchasing power of the gold you own loses half of its value in about 35 years, roughly, at some 2% per year inflation. No one can create more Bitcoin because it is written in the rules, and any node that tries to mess with that supply automatically gets kicked off the network. And that's essentially a hard fork, which, again, I don't want to go into that, but nobody's going to follow you down there. Essentially, no one would create more Bitcoin. If you can, no one would, because if you did, you'd be the one node apart from the other, say, 50,000. And no one's going to go that way, because that would devalue all the Bitcoin. So why would anybody actively want to destroy their own value of their savings? Ah, a metaphor, a thing I hate. I like to be very straightforward. But think of Bitcoin as a dance crew. I never got into crews. Think of it as a dance crew, and they have limited spots. And it's hard to get in. It's hard to get in. The supply of Bitcoin is 21 million. There are 9 billion people in the world, whatever it is now, and it's only going to grow in the future. Yeah, so that leaves, I think if you divide 21 million by 8 billion, you get something along the lines of 0.0028 or something like that. So like a quarter of a percent each. Let's do the maths. 7 divided by 8,000. Same. How does that work? That can't be right. Of course it can't be right. Those are the wrong numbers. 21 divided by 8,000 is, yeah, 0.002625 Bitcoin per person. So if you buy that much Bitcoin right now, you would have the average amount of Bitcoin a human can have if it was evenly spread out, which is not ever going to happen because Satoshi has 1 million coin. He's gone. He's gone. 2011 or 13 or something like that. Several years after creating it, he disappeared. He said, I'm going off to do different things. Fearing his own safety, I believe, for good reason, obviously, as I explained at the start. So let's see, what was I going to do? Yep. Now, today's price is somewhere around, let's say, Australian dollars, let's say around 90,000. So 90,000 divided by 0. Am I doing this wrong? 0.0026. Yeah, no, definitely doing it wrong. It's the other way around. Right. Australian dollars, I think it's around 250 bucks. So if you buy 250 bucks worth of Bitcoin right now, you'll have what an average person would have if it was spread out equally amongst everyone. I think that's like 150 or something American dollars, whatever it is. My advice, who the hell am I? Don't listen to me. My advice is put all your money into it, all of it. You have to have the stomach for it, though. I'll go into it. Now, why should you do that? Because Bitcoin is immune from the fiat money supply inflation, the dollar system. Every government currency is the same. They're all the fiat by decree. Fiat means because the government said so, that's why it's money, the fiat money. So it's a hedge against that inflation and the money printing. It cannot be printed. They cannot inflate the supply of it. So if you're saving money for the long term, in the short term, it's very volatile. Whew. Okay. Don't buy Bitcoin if you plan to spend it in 6 months. Buy it if you plan to spend it in 10, 20 years. All right. It is what it is. I cannot tell you how to make money now. I don't know. I have a transport business. You do you. I'm a big, strong boy, and I've got the skill and the truck and yeah. So that's what I do. I don't know how to tell you to make money. I can tell you how to save money for the future, though. But what do I know? So it's a hedge against that. If you keep your money, and I've seen this, I've moved people's houses, I've seen bags of money. I stopped moving houses, but I did it for 20 years. I do other furniture stuff now. I've seen bags of money. People take cash and put it in a safe place. And now, you lift the cabinet and quickly, they take it. Actually, the reason that, I'm not, don't worry, I'm not going to go into that. There was a case where another transport company stole someone's money. She double booked us. I'll go into it. The old lady booked us and she booked the other people. I got there a few minutes before them. The second people came as well. We took one item out of the house. The second company comes in and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I meant for them to move me, not you guys. It's like, okay, look, just give me 50 bucks so I can pay my worker and we'll go. And she did, and we left. The police later contacted me because those people found a bag of cash that she had under something and they stole it. So they wanted me to describe what they looked like, what their truck was like, all that stuff. I helped them as much as I could. But yeah, okay. So That can happen. If you, however, keep that cash, and if nobody stole it, and if she still had it to this day, it's been 20 years, she would have lost in value, she would have lost half of that money at least to inflation. Even though nobody touched it, the value of what like what that money can buy has decreased. Bitcoin is completely immune from that. And as a matter of fact, as you debase the dollar system, the value of Bitcoin just goes up by like directly goes up because the dollars buy less stuff. You need more dollars to buy something, including houses and cars and Bitcoin and food and everything else. Now, you may think you're too late. I knew about Bitcoin from the very start. The very start, I knew about it. And I thought, it's a bit of curious maths. It will never catch on. Too bad. The governments won't allow it. Blah, blah, blah. A few years later, I thought, oh my God, had I put in $1,000, I would now be a millionaire. But now it's too late. It's like $1 now. What's it going to go to $1,000? A few years later, it went to $1,000. And I thought, oh man, if I put in $1,000, then I would have had $1,000,000. But now it's too late. Then I watched it go from $1,000 to like $50,000. And I thought, oh my God, why? Oh, it's too late. It's too late. And yeah, I finally, October 21, I start looking into it properly, and I realized, oh my God, this was so obvious from the start. Had I just looked into it better, I would have known there was no other way for this to go other than full adoption. So I got in then, and I've watched it go from Australian dollars, but whatever, Australian dollars, but it's relevant. So from 70 to 95 in November 21, and then it spent 12 months crashing pretty badly. It lost like 70, 80% of its value. It went down to 25,000. So yeah, it's like 75%. And it stayed there. I was so excited the whole way down. Oh my God, it was like a kid in a candy store. It's getting cheaper and cheaper. Sure, what I put in is losing value, but now it's getting cheaper. So it's better. And that's when people are scared. That's when you go in. That's where we're at right now. So I then watched it go from 25 to last October, it was like 190,000, 125 in US dollars. So from 15,000 to 125 in US dollars. And now it's crashed back down to some 60,000 US, which is about 90,000 here. We can go into any of this stuff. Leave comments if you want to know about more. It is borderless. Anyone in the whole world is, in terms of who can own it, who can send it, who can earn it, we're all the same. There's complete equality in terms of how we can use it. Completely borderless, portable. All you need is that password. All you need is the password. There are little devices, actually, some of them look just like a calculator. There are little devices, some of them look like a USB stick. They can store your password without any connection to the internet. And they make it very easy to use. You can use that, or you can just remember the password in your head, whatever. You need the password. That is your Bitcoin, just the password. The odds of somebody guessing your password is like, if they guessed once a second, it would take them 10 times the life of the universe to guess it. So you're good. You can take the password with you anywhere in the world and spend it there. You can send it to anyone anywhere in the world. The location is irrelevant. As long as it's on planet Earth, okay? Because those blocks are 10 minutes at a time. If it takes information longer than 10 minutes to travel somewhere, you could be a block behind, and it just makes it very hard. So if you're in Jupiter Yeah, tough luck. You're probably not going to be using the same Bitcoin we're using on Earth. That, as far as I'm aware, unless we get faster than light communication, Star Trek, then we can use Bitcoin everywhere. But for now, we're stuck to this tiny planet, sadly. You own it. Self-custody. That's my calculator. I have it. I don't need anyone to hold it for me. It's mine. I'm responsible for it. I can break it. I can lose it. That's on me. Same with cash. That lady had the cash in her cabinet. She was responsible for it. And she forgot, and they got their hands on it. Bitcoin, same. Same. So if your money's in the bank and things go wrong, they can refund you the money. They'll just print more money and give it to you. They take it out of your pocket to give it back to you. Well, they take it out of everyone's pocket to give it back to you. Yeah, the password, you got to guard it. And there are ways to, you can do multi-sig setups where you can have 2 of 3 or 7 of 9, any number. So you can take 3 passwords, let's keep it simple, put one in your house, put one in your parents' house, and put one in like a, I don't know, bury it in a treasure chest in another country. And the only way to access the Bitcoin is to use 2 of those 3. If you lose one, you can replace it with, you can replace that one, but you need at least 2. If you lose 2, tough luck, you've lost it forever. If you just have the one, which is a lot easier to keep track of, but if you lose that one, you've lost it. Nobody can recover your Bitcoin. There are lost coins out there. You've heard of people digging through trash. Everyone's heard of these stories. They have it on a computer. This is before. The old wallets didn't have these passwords. You had to have it on a hardware device. Maybe the computer dies. It's gone. You lost the computer. It's gone. You lost the password to your encrypted USB stick. It's gone. You have the stick, but you can't get into it. Now we have these passwords. It's a much better system. I can go into that again, but I won't. The wallets are much better to manage now, but you must, it's your responsibility. You're a big boy or girl. You can do this. You have to be responsible for your actions. Are you too late? I can get into this. You're not. You're not. Maybe we have, maybe let's say 1% of the world owns some Bitcoin. Not a terribly meaningful amount. Some. There are some people like Michael Saylor who have at present around 850,000 Bitcoin, tens of billions of dollars worth. Hundreds? Tens? Whatever. So there are people like him. There are, well, companies like his. He doesn't have that much. He personally, I think, has in the tens of thousands. Musk, SpaceX just did the IPO. Combined, all the companies there combined now have, I believe, 20,000 Bitcoin, right? But yeah, there are plenty of people who got in early. I could have been one of them, but I'm not. You learn from your mistakes. There are people out there who might have 1,000 Bitcoin. There are people who have several hundred. There are people who only have 1% of a coin. You don't have to buy a whole coin. You definitely don't. Like, that's not how I do it. The way you should be doing it is called dollar cost averaging. So either on a regular schedule, some you can automate it. I have friends who automate it to 10, 20, $30 a day. And that's what it is. They might make, let's say, $300 a day, and they'll put $10 automatically from their bank account, goes in and buys it. So you can do automatic buys. You can set them up that way. I personally, because of my business, I don't get paid regularly. So when I get money, I use a certain percentage to buy Bitcoin immediately. I don't care what the price is. I'm not trying to get in low and sell high. That's trading. Do not trade. Do not ever trade. That's how you lose your money. That's how the $100 million companies take your money from you. They scare you and you sell at the wrong time. You buy in when everyone's excited, and you sell when you get scared, when it drops. That's the opposite of what you should be doing. But what you really should be doing is just buying. Don't look at the price. Don't worry about anything. You just buy. You buy high, you buy low, you buy high, you just buy. Don't worry. Because the chart, if you look at these, I can do all this, but not now. The chart does this. Okay. It's done that for 17 years. Just zigzags all the way up from the bottom up. So who cares if you bought here or here or here or here? Because now it's up here. Okay. Just buy. If you have money, just buy. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a truck driver. So honestly, I, I'm just helping. I always have helped. I'm just giving you the best advice I know. But I'm not a financial advisor, which is good. I think those guys are idiots and crooked because they get paid to get you to buy certain things. So why would you trust someone who's got incentives to sell you a particular thing for their own benefit, not for yours? But anyway, do what you want. I don't have any official training in any of this. I'm not certified in any way as a financial advisor. I am just some truck driver ranting into his phone. Yeah. If you try to, okay, time in the market beats timing the market. It's a thing that people say. Don't worry about it. Just don't think about the price. Just buy. Where are we? If you're a dancer, which you probably are because you're watching this, you can actually get paid for your dancing. Yeah, I will get into this. I don't know how you should make money from dancing, but this is potentially it. If you dance, there. Where do I begin? Uh, Bitcoin, like I said, there's a block every 10 minutes, so payments can be slow. But try to send money to another country, and you'll see. You'll wait days, and there will be big fees, and then there will be exchange rates, unfavorable exchange rates. You will lose a large percentage of your money if you send it to another country. With Bitcoin, the fee might be $1, 50 cents, something like that. So you could send 20 cents to someone, or you could send them 20 million bucks. The fee will be, let's say, 50 cents. So the fees are fairly comparatively small. But on a layer 2, which how they work, I'm not going to get into here, but it's real Bitcoin. It's just on a separate layer, which isn't on the blockchain. It gets reconciled later down the line. You can send within seconds. It's the same as tapping your phone. You use the QR codes. You scan a QR code, they get the money within seconds. And the fees there are like a tenth of a cent. So basically no fees. So you could earn money if you put videos with a QR code for your Lightning address. Anyone in the whole world watching it can take that QR code, copy it, paste the QR code in their Lightning wallet, and they could just send you any amount, 10 cents. I like to send people 69 cents because I'm a smooth guy like that. I send them out all the time. It's like 7 cents or something in Australia. 6, whatever it is now. Yeah, I just throw 69 sats at people, which a sat is 1/1 millionth, 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So yes, there's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. So I sent 69, which works out to about 7 cents. I've sent more. If I really believe in something, I'll send 1,000 sats, which is like $1. Yeah. Actually, there's a movie being made about Julian Assange and how they use Bitcoin when all the governments blocked them. They use Bitcoin to get funds and stuff like that. So the government unintentionally made him like a billionaire through their incompetence and I guess ill will. I've given him. They had like a fundraiser for the movie and stuff. I think I gave $5 or something to that one. You could do anything. I've bought things, $300, things like that. I have bought stuff in Bitcoin as well. So both through Lightning and on chain. Yeah, the fees are low. The fees are low, and it's so easy. If you in Estonia put up a QR code, I can scan it and send you Bitcoin within seconds. Yeah, so while you are busy creating your videos and being a creative butterfly, uh, you can accumulate sats that way and hold them. Don't spend them. Don't spend them. They'll be worth a lot more in the future. But what do I know? And who knows? If you are very good and you get, look, I had a friend just recently, he posted a video, not Bitcoin related, but he posted a shuffle video and it got thousands of likes within minutes or within a day or whatever it was. Like normally they might get 20 or 50, but he got, yeah, let's call it 1,000 that day. So if you're someone like this, who actually does have a large audience and you are a good shuffler, yeah, you could maybe make a few bucks a day, maybe more. Maybe somebody will just zap you 10, 50, 20 bucks. Who knows? Zap, that's it. You zap each other's sats. It's like a little lightning symbol, um, like David Bowie. So, oh, speaking of celebrities, I just recently started following a guy on Instagram. He's, I don't know his name. He's the grandson of Stanley Kubrick. And he makes you know it because he keeps saying it. Don't worry about that guy. But many of his videos, he's wearing a little Bitcoin logo shirt. So he's a Bitcoiner. Um, I got sidetracked. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Now, how to get started. I think this needs a whole separate video. This is getting long now. Um, yeah, yeah. You know what? Check out uh, Bitcoin Sessions on YouTube. He has a lot of extremely good tutorials, and there are plenty of YouTubers who do. But if you type in a topic, how to start Bitcoin in Bitcoin, how to get started, how to use a particular wallet, how to use a particular signing device, there's little things I said to that hold your Bitcoin. This guy's covered it all. So Bitcoin Sessions is a really good guy to follow, but I can do it. If you, I can one-on-one. He's a very busy guy, obviously. I probably have the time to talk to you if unless I get a huge response to this, which I don't think I will. It's not so easy to get people into Bitcoin. You buy it from exchanges. You can buy it person to person. You can say to me, "Hey Milan, can I buy some of your Bitcoin?" And I might say, "Yes." I wouldn't. I will never sell my Bit. You never sell your Bitcoin, right? Unless it's 32 Bitcoin, your name's Michael Saylor, and then the whole market crashes because they break the fuck out. But anyway, never mind that. You don't sell your Bitcoin. Well, you, I've bought stuff with Bitcoin, but when I buy stuff with Bitcoin, I'll use dollars. Say it's $300. I'll buy $300 worth, and I'll send that. So spend and replace. Although for me, it's like buy and spend immediately. Um, there are a number of exchanges. Don't trust any of them. Don't trust them. You must have your own self-custody wallet. I don't care. You must. Okay. It's going to cost you $200 or whatever, 100, 200, depending on what country you're in, the shipping and all that. There are a bunch of them. I've used the Jade wallets, Blockstream Jade wallets. The CEO, I believe, of the company is Adam Back. He's one of the very few people mentioned in the Bitcoin white paper. That the white paper describes, this is what Bitcoin is, this is how it works. Read that if you're a nerd. I did many times. I actually have it printed on my bookshelf. Um, so just choose what seems to be a reputable exchange, but don't trust them. I buy it there several times, and then I send it to my cold storage. Cold because it's not on the internet. The password is not on the internet. No one can hack it. Although I don't know how often hacks happen, but yeah, don't trust the exchange because you don't know who's got your keys. Not your keys, not your cheese. That's one thing they say. Not your keys, not your cheese. You must hold the keys to your wallet, the password. Yeah, start small, whatever it is. Like I said, I've got friends who often buy $10. I buy whenever I get paid a small percentage, or it used to be higher, but now it's smaller. I've scaled down. Don't worry about me. I'm just some guy who's just a truck driver. Why should you even listen to me? What are you, some kind of idiot listening to a truck driver? But small, any amount. If I don't play the lottery. I play when it's like $100 million, just as a joke. I'll buy a ticket. But if I was to win $100 million, I would put 99 million into Bitcoin right now. I'd just use the other million to pay off this house, and yeah, I would just live off the other 500,000 for the next 10 years. I have absolute, complete conviction here. Your keys, god damn it, you gotta hide the shit out of them. I have a pretty good solution on how you can protect them from fire and water and pets and all this stuff. Um, Initially, when you buy the device, it will randomly spit out 12 words at you. And I have one where you literally roll a game, six-sided die, 100 times, and it completely randomizes what output you get. But the device will give you 12 words. You write them down on paper initially. That's just the quickest way to do it. Then you transfer that to metal, which I can get into in another video if you want. And then that metal will, depending on what you use, steel, titanium, but a steel will survive a house fire, right? Easily survive a house fire. Titanium will survive a house fire times 5, you know? I don't know what kind of fire you plan to be involved in, but I don't know what you're storing in your house. Are your house bricks made of lithium? I don't know. But yeah, you're good if you just use steel. It's a fairly it's like dirt cheap option, and it is good. Yeah, do your own research. Warning: do your own. I used AI to help me write this. Warning: do your own research. Again, I am just a drug driver. There's a lot of guys out there on YouTube with a lot of information. I learned from them. I've read a few books. The Bitcoin Standard's a very good starting point by Saifedean Ammous. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. Learn. I mean, just learn. I've always advocated learning. Learn. Ah, risks. Risks. All right. What are the risks? Price volatility. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There are times when it goes 2, 3, 5x in a year, and there are times like it just did since October. It's crashed 50%. Just get ready for a wild ride. That's what it is. Do not freak out. Only put in what you're willing to lose. Is that Yeah, only invest what you can afford to lose. Okay? And it's true. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Don't be left in a situation where you can't eat food. Okay? Like I said, some people do $10 a day. That's all. That's fine. It's like 3% of your income or something. Maybe quit smoking. Maybe quit eating McDonald's and cook at home. Maybe, drink less. Find ways to save money and just put a small amount in there. You'll be healthier, and 10 years down the line, you'll actually have some decent savings. So only invest with, again, if I won the lottery, all my money would go in. 99% of it would go in. But that's me. I'm what you might call a toxic maxi. And I let the world know it. Regulatory uncertainty. FM. Okay? FM to death. I don't care about the regulations. They cannot stop you. They can't stop you. I mean, the banks, the Commonwealth Bank has tried to stop me many times. And it's like, what are you doing? You can't stop me. You see this transaction? See when you stopped me? Yes, and I couldn't buy it. Yep. And then you see this? Yeah. What do you think that is? It's Bitcoin. You cannot stop me. So I don't care. I don't care. It's my money. I'll do with it as I please. Now, your money in the bank is not your money. Your money in the bank is not yours. It's not money, and it's not in the bank. Your money in the bank is not yours, not money, not in the bank. Okay. Uh, Governments have tried. China's banned it 1,000 times now. There was a mining ban just before I got in, I think mid 21, I believe, which crashed the mining, the hash power, the conglomerate computing power that's in Bitcoin, crashed it by half. All those miners just picked up from China. It's basically just people have these computers in containers, shipping containers, and they just take them to another country, Kazakhstan, Russia, US, wherever. They just ship them out somewhere else, hook them back up. We recovered within a few months. And and then some. It's the computing power in Bitcoin is like that. Currently, there's a bit of a dip. When the price drops, it gets more expensive to mine it. So if you have old machines, it's not profitable, so people shut them off. They'll turn them back on when the price goes back up. But when the price drops and it becomes unprofitable, it becomes easier to mine because there's less competition. So some people turn theirs back on. So, and there are some people like myself. I have 2 bit axes. They're about the size of your phone, and they just sit there mining. I'll never win a block. That's like the odds are like once in 7,000 years. But I'm just doing my part to contribute to the hashing power of Bitcoin and the decentralization. Scams and hacks. Use a hardware wallet. Like I said, they cannot hack it if it's not on the internet. If you type your password into your computer, do not store it anywhere except a piece of metal. Burn that piece of paper later. A piece of metal. It is not to be on the internet. People get these keyloggers where you can be typing it into your computer and it'll track it'll record what you're pressing. Don't put it in an email and send it to yourself because there's people just scanning emails for lists of 12 or 24 words. Uh, yeah. Not financial advice. What do I know? What do I know? I'm just some guy. It's worked fairly well for me. And we are at a bad time right now. So, yeah. Final thoughts. Are they? Yeah, I've said this. Not a get rich quick scheme. All right. Um, it's not. I had a friend who bought some. It crashed 30% and he sold it immediately. My light's out. I have more stamina than a flashlight. Oh god, that sounds bad. Um, One of these, you guys. One of these. So, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's get rich slow. So you can do. I do not have a retirement fund. When you have a business, you don't have to put your money in retirement because I believe it's a scam. But what do I know? So I've never done that. I have zero money in retirement. Bitcoin is my retirement. Um, yeah, just use your time every day when you're doing something. If I'm ironing, if I'm mowing the lawn, if I'm cleaning the house, if I'm doing the dishes, laundry, whatever I'm doing, headphones, podcasts, YouTube videos. Just if I'm driving, I'll play something as I'm driving. I'll listen to it. Just learn, keep learning, keep learning. Develop your skills, earn money in whichever ways you can. But I don't know. We're in this system. It sucks. It really sucks the way it is. Bitcoin fixes this. Bitcoin fixes the world eventually. But for now, we're stuck here. And slowly, as adoption grows, the governments will adopt it. There are several countries which already are buying Bitcoin. Um, things will get better, friends. They will get better, but they're just probably they're going to get worse before they get better. Ah, keep dancing, my friends. Keep dancing. Get better at that. Again, we can build something. We can build something where we share videos. There's an alternative social media, Nostr, Nostr. You can create an account. Again, it's kind of like Bitcoin, but social media. It's decentralized. No one can shut you down. The wallets for Lightning are built in if you use certain clients. So I use Primal, and it just has a built-in wallet. It's amazing. If I see something I like, I just press the Zap button, and they get the money instantly. So we can do something like that. I'll get into that in another video. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I really, and if I get a lot of questions on the same topic, I'll make more videos. I do also want to make a video in Serbian. So if you don't understand it, just skip it. God knows those people, they need it. All right. Whatever, Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian, all those guys, they need it. We needed it in the 90s when we didn't have it, but now it's there. There are countries in the world now who are adopting it because they're in that same position. But yeah, I really want to help them as well. So I'll see you again. God damn, we're almost at an hour. I'm sorry about the length. I could talk for days. Okay, I've really run through things very quickly. Don't listen to me. What do I know? I'm just some guy, as always. But let me know what else I can tell you about this. Thank you. Thank you for being here for so long.